Rogan is in the right-wing ecosystem. Rogan heard the arguments about, oh, Tim Walz put tampons in the boys' bathrooms. That is a complete and utter lie.
What's going on, you guys? Today we have Kyle Kulinski exposing Joe Rogan. We're going to be going over some core beliefs that diehard Trump fans sort of like all have in common, Joe Rogan included. I'm playing a clip from the Kyle Kulinski show as well as from the Joe Rogan Experience with some of my commentary. Let's get into it.
Vibes. Because remember, guys, here are the politics that Joe Rogan says he has from his own mouth. Listen to this. You've heard this before, but this is super important. Listen to the things he says he believes in, what his values are, and what his policy preferences are. And then I'm going to tell you a thing or two about Tim Walz.
I really believe if Michelle Obama runs, she wins.
She's good.
She's great. She's the wife of the best president that we have had in our lifetime. I've never voted right-wing in my life. I consider universal basic income a really good idea. I want free college education.
Take it easy.
Hello, Bernie.
How are you, Joe?
Wonderful. Pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I like Tulsi and I like Bernie. That's it.
Oh, yeah?
Everybody else can eat shit.
Look at you, fucking progressive.
Yeah. I think I'll probably vote for Bernie. I think he's looking out for the interests of the working people. And I think he wants people to have a better life and do better. And I'm all for that. And if that means I have to pay more in tax, like people think, oh, you're a socialist. I've heard people say that. Oh, you're a fucking socialist, bro. Like, first of all, he's not even a socialist. He's a democratic socialist. It's a different thing. I would like to spend more in taxes if they could fix inner city communities and take these poor neighborhoods and throw a fuckload of them. Spend more, you fucking Republican piece of shit. 87% of scientists said that human activity is driving global warming. I'm very pro-choice. I'm very women's rights, civil rights, gay rights, trans rights. I'm even universal health care. Obviously, this protected status is driving me crazy. This thing that Trump's doing with children that were born in other countries and then brought over here as children, and then they're talking about deporting them. That drives me fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's
that kind of shit. And the hard right version of that is despicable. These people that I see online, why didn't they apply for citizenship? Oh, who knows? Maybe because they're fucking 13. I don't give a fuck if they broke the law. You don't take parents and kids and separate them. You just fucking don't. You know Alonzo?
No, who's that?
A funny comedian.
Yeah.
He goes, not all Donald Trump supporters are racist, but all racists are Donald Trump supporters.
He definitely awakened that side.
But the January 6th thing is important.
See, it is important,
And
but is it the 6 months later? It should be the ruling number one conversation of journalists?
I think it's really important. And one of the reasons why I think it's important because it highlights the reasons why a guy like Donald Trump is so fucking dangerous. Is because a guy can incite a bunch of morons to do something really fucking stupid. As far as trans people, some trans people listening to this, I got nothing but love for you. For everybody. And in fact, Eddie Izzard is one of my all-time favorite guests.
Oh, I love Izzard.
The right-wing thing is just an easy way to dismiss me because I'm not right-wing.
So from his own...
And if you're a regular on this channel, I believe you may have seen that clip before, but it's good to see that Joe Rogan has, he has something deep inside of him, whether he's repressed that now out of greed or out of, becoming misinformed and believing in this illusion that is the Trump campaign. It's very, very difficult to see how he has turned into who he is today. But it's refreshing to see that at least deep down, maybe, he still shares some values with us. Now, it's interesting how he goes for Bernie Sanders, and he's very, very much inclined to speak up for Bernie Sanders. But if anyone who keeps up with Joe Rogan, you see that he has sort of a hard heart against Tim Walz. He believes all of these lies. And Kyle Kulinski goes over some of Tim Walz's actual policy in this next clip.
Own mouth. He believes in the philosophy and the ideology and the policies of Bernie Sanders. Well, guess what, Joe? Tim Walz is Bernie Sanders as a governor. So put aside all the bullshit and all the right-wing nonsense you've been fed about who Tim Walz is and what he stands for. Here's what he actually accomplished with a one-seat majority in the state of Minnesota as the governor. Universal free school breakfast and lunch for kids. Legal weed. Something you care about. Carbon-free electricity by the year 2040. Tax rebates for the working class up to $1,300. 12 weeks paid family leave. 12 weeks paid sick leave. He banned gay conversion therapy because it's fake. It's a fraud. He did red flag laws for guns. So if somebody's having a mental breakdown and saying they're going to shoot up the school, you could take their guns from them before they shoot up the school. He did universal background checks for guns, automatic voter registration, free public college, which is something you said directly that you support. He did it for people who make $80,000 a year or less. He banned the PFAs, the PFAS, the forever chemicals, which I know is something you support because you love RFK, and that's something RFK has said that he cares about. He did a $2.2 billion increase in school funding for kindergarten to 12th grade. He did sectoral bargaining for nursing home workers, which raises their pay. And then when you look at his time in Congress, he opposed the Wall Street bailouts. Rogan agrees with that. He voted against outsourcing deals. Rogan agrees with that. He codified Roe versus Wade. Rogan agrees with that. The Roe v. Wade thing, was as governor. As governor, he did right to repair. In Congress, he had a 100% rating from Planned Parenthood. He banned non-compete clauses. He raised the minimum wage for small businesses, raised taxes on multinational corporations, protected gender-affirming care, banned medical providers from withholding care over debt, protected construction workers from wage theft, did a massive Minnesota infrastructure bill. He opposed the Iraq War. He fought neocons twice when they tried to bomb Syria, and he opposed sending weapons to Saudi Arabia. This guy's record...
So, right, Kyle Kulinski is going over some of Tim Walz's policies, and it's interesting to see why is it that Joe Rogan is against this? Why? There's some similarities. There's definitely some, progressive policies that Tim Walz is for. So it seems like it's stuff that Joe Rogan even cares about as far as that last clip with Joe Rogan. But why is it that he doesn't see the same hope in Tim Walz as he does in Bernie Sanders?
Is as close to Bernie Sanders as any other politician in the country is going to get. And he actually did a lot of those things directly in Minnesota. He got them through with a 1-seat majority. So you, according to your own words, you should love Tim Walz. Now, why does he actually not love Tim Walz? Why does he actually not love Tim Walz? Because we already established it's not the lie thing. Because Trump told a gazillion more lies and way worse lies and never admitted it, doubled down. He's been a joke on that front. J.D. Vance, same goddamn thing. So it's not the lies. So what is it? I'll tell you what it is. Rogan is in the right-wing ecosystem. Rogan heard the arguments about, Tim Walz put tampons in the boys' bathrooms. That is a complete and utter lie. That is total bullshit. That is not at all what that policy said. It's nonsense. But he believed it. Also, he believed the lie that, Tim Walz was locking people up for violating COVID rules is the other thing that the right was running with. This idea, you have a hotline to snitch on your neighbors. Okay, what came of that? What came of that? Nothing. Nobody got locked up because they were going around COVID rules. This is utter nonsense. And by the way, COVID's such a big thing for Rogan. Who gave us the vaccine? Who did Operation Warp Speed? The guy you endorsed, Donald Trump. Who presided over the lockdowns? Donald Trump. Who castigated and berated the governor of Georgia when the Republican governor of Georgia wanted to open up his state early on during COVID? Trump said, don't you dare open it up. You better stay locked down. So in other words, the shit he says makes absolutely no sense. And if you think Tim Walz is a bigger liar than Donald Trump, you have the IQ of a mosquito. You do. Because again, the reality is at the end of the day, he's in that right-wing echo chamber, and he's vibes-based. He's vibes-based. And so he likes Trump's vibes.
And this is the issue with, the uninitiated or unenlightened guy who is a part of the conservative fan base, is that it's so much internalized misogyny, it's the internalized homophobia to whenever you do hear a lie that's targeting you, saying that, Tim Walz is putting, tampons in the boys' bathroom. I mean, not only is it not true, but it's literally created to get you up in arms, to get you to say, well, I don't, that sounds, where's my red hat? Give me my red hat. Come on, let me get in my truck and let's go to the Trump rally. Like, yeah, screw that. I don't want to see any of that in my bathroom. Not in my bathroom, not in my country. You know what I mean? And it's literally created to play off of your own bullshit, and it's working clearly. Definitely with Joe Rogan it is,
It does, right? And now he's buddy-buddy with Trump. He's buddy-buddy with Don Jr. in the same podcast. They giggle about Don Jr. like my tweet. This is embarrassing. This is absolutely embarrassing shit. It's so ironic, isn't it, that the reason why I actually got excited about the Kamala campaign, namely picking Tim Walz, is the reason why he was like, no, I'm going to endorse Trump. And who do you think has more knowledge about Tim Walz? Who do you think knows the policies and the reality of Tim Walz? Well, I just told you his entire record. Did he know any of those things? Literally any of those things. Any of those things. Did Rogan hear any of the awesome, tremendous policies that Tim Walz did? No, he didn't. He heard some bullshit about, locking people up over COVID rules and tampons in the boys' bathroom. And, bro, he said he was in Tiananmen Square during the thing, but he was there like a couple weeks before, bro. he said he achieved a higher rank in the military, but he didn't. He actually was promoted to that, then didn't fill out the paperwork. So technically, he didn't actually get that rank. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing?
Exactly. And at the end of the day, you know, Joe Rogan's audience, him himself, Joe Rogan, it's one of those things to where if he is able to put all of this on somebody else, make them the enemy, make them terrible, he doesn't really have to reflect on the fact that he may share some similarities with Donald Trump. He may share some similarities with, like, as far as character-wise goes. And, you know, he doesn't have to actually look at what's wrong with this guy. He can just fully say, hey, look, he's good now. I changed my mind. I really like him. You know, it's the lesser of two evils, rather than looking at the entire situation objectively. But yeah, look, let me know what you guys think in the comments. It's another day in the progressive way.